What is up, guys? We're the Vapers. I'm Sam.
And I'm Zach.
Alright, and today we have a video on regulated mods with RDAs on them.
And I have a new toy to show off to all you guys. E-Leaf iStick 100 watt. With my dark horse on top, because it's my baby.
I'm still stuck with this until tomorrow when I'm getting an E-Leaf 100 watt and a couple other new toys. But we'll have those in later videos. But today we're talking about what it is having a regulated mod and an RDA versus a mech mod. Now with these, you have something that shows you what you're running at, power, watts, voltage, joules, whatever your mech mod is running, it won't show you. But with a regulated mod, it shows you exactly what you're at. It'll tell you ohms and everything. Now, with my favorite one on this is with the E-Leaf 50 watt. Goes up to 50 watts right now. It's at max watts right now. It's kind of getting dead. But there's a little glitch with this.
Temp 29. Don't know if you can see that too well, but that's what it reads out at. It's not a temperature control device, but there is a glitch that shows you what temperature it's currently running at. I don't know why that's in the system, but it is.
I guess it's kind of like a little Easter egg that E-Leaf hid inside of our mods that we didn't know about.
And it's not in the user manual either. I don't know what they were thinking with that. But
could you imagine the first person to figure it out, like, oh damn, I clicked. We've actually discovered this a couple days ago when he accidentally did it on his 50 watt. And it popped up temp and we couldn't figure out what was going on. So we Googled it and it showed up that it will actually show the temperature that your E-Leaf is at. But it's not temp controlled where you can set the temperature on it. Now, going back to regulated mods with RDAs. With these, you have to keep dripping them, and that's a problem that you can run into if you're using a regulated mod with an RDA, because just like every one of them, alright, take it off, and everyone knows this has a regulated mod, you get juice. Juice gets all over in there. You gotta keep wiping it off, clean it off so you don't ever get that juice done in there.
You can buy mod cleaner too, which sprays on the inside, gets all the gunk out of the contacts and the buttons, makes it work a little bit better. It's not too expensive. I think it's like $3 a can. It's an investment you can make.
And you can also buy the little disc that go underneath your RDA so it doesn't leak onto your regulated mod getting into the power source. Something that's cool about the E-Leaf 50 watts is something that a lot of people may not know, is that there's actually a little tray in there. So that what happens is if you get, let's say juice runs down into your pin or your wherever it's at, those little holes on the side, there's a little tray in there. Right in there, those little holes, there's a little tray in there that actually will stop the juice from getting into your electronics, getting in and causing damage, and it'll actually come out the sides. Not that you want that to happen, but it saves your electronics. Now vaping with these is a lot nicer. Alright, so when you have a regulated mod, and let's say you're at work or you're out on the go, and it dies. Unless you've got that extra battery with you, the problem you run into is you have nothing you can vape on the rest of the day. Now, Zach's going to tell you a little bit about what the pass-through is on here in a second. But being able to charge these on the go, just by plugging it in, I love it.
Alright guys, so what pass-through does is basically, you can plug in with a regular micro USB-N like any of your Android devices are going to use. And it just runs the electricity up through the batteries and out through the top. It passes through. Whereas some devices that they want you to charge the battery before you use it, I can actually have this plugged in and still vape on it. And it'll still charge it. Another thing that's different from the 100 watt to the 50 watt is this has what's known as a Lipo Battery, which means you can't take it out. It's on the inside. You'd have to actually unscrew it and go through all the technical stuff that goes along with changing the batteries. And what we've noticed with the 50 watts that we've had is the batteries sort of crap out a little quick. Like 35 watts on my regular 50 watt isn't the same as 50 watts on my 100 watt, just for the fact that the batteries in this are fresher. They hold more charge and they can put out more power. And on the 100 watt, you can put dual 18650s in there, change them out whenever they get old, and you're good to go.
Also, something that's cool about that, before he puts the battery panel back on there is, see there's two batteries in here? I'm going to press the firing button. Oh look, it fires. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take out one of the batteries. It has one 18650 in it right now. One. And still fires. That is something that is extremely cool to us because you can fire it even if you only have one battery in there. Let's say for some reason you end up just having one battery. You can actually just run it right on one battery. We haven't been able to test this out for how long it lasts, but it will still fire and it still operates. And that is something we do like about it.
And the beautiful magnetic door on these things. Ooh, my thing's sticking out.
Wouldn't be the first time he's heard that. Also, something too is what I really do like about the new eLeaf 100 watts. It's an economical box mod. It really is. Like, it costs what? It's $69 if you get it from a shop normally, or it's maybe a little bit cheaper depending on where you get it from. And the cool thing about it is the fact that I can sit there and pay for one of those, and it's a good one. It's got the power, and you can get good clouds with it. You don't have to spend $150 on a mod, which some people like to do. But at the same time, for me, I like to know what exactly is going on in mine. I have one shame for eLeaf, though. All right, it really pisses me off when I'm running my 50 watt and it randomly shuts itself off as I'm driving down the road in class or something like that, or going to class. And the only way to get this thing to turn back on is by plugging it in. And even at that, it can shut itself off. Also, something too is, if you have coils that are highly worn, or you even have them in there for a certain amount of time, or redone them a couple times, cleaned them off so you keep using them, that resistance on these actually gets higher. And if it hits a certain point where it doesn't like the wires, the eLeaf won't fire at all. It'll shut itself off after one hit. And that's something that we've noticed. Also, it has temperamental tendencies with tanks. Now, we have a Herakles Tank that we can operate on anything else, but to get to work on one of these, it's questionable. It acts like it doesn't want to sometimes.
Like, for instance, one day I was walking out of the library here at school, and I had to clear my chest, and I had my 50 watt mod in my hand with the tank on it, and went like this. And then I tried to hit it, and it said no atomizer. And the same thing happened another night we were here. I bumped it off of a table, kept reading no atomizer. Put it on any other mod, it would fire. Put it on the 50 watt, even his 50 watt, it wouldn't work. But on any other mod, it was fine. So I don't know if that's something to do with the chip that's in the 50 watts, how those work, but it wouldn't function the way that it should have.
Yeah, and also something else too is the fact that when you get something that's temperature controlled, like the new EVIC 60 watts, or the Sigelli 150 TZ, or really anything temperature controlled, that temperature control function doesn't mean anything unless you have nickel or titanium wire in there. You can't operate it. It doesn't work. And it's going to be operating on joules. And if someone's not familiar with joules, it defeats the purpose. I've seen a lot of people try to run them. But the big thing about it is that I don't like the fact that to use temperature control, you have to use different wire. That bothers me, because if I've got a build, let's say on like the Troll, that I like, and I want to do temperature control on it. What are you doing?
Trying to blow another hole.
Then I can't operate it. I can't use temperature control unless I change the build in it. So I have to have different RDAs. But that's what really bothers me about it too. I mean, that's something that's just me, but when I look at those, they're cool and all that. But I mean, if I was going to spend the money on a 60 watt device, which is, depending on where you get the EVIC from, I mean, they're normally like 60, 70 bucks, and you're getting a Sigelli 75 watt for about the same price. So, I mean, like, I feel like the 60 EVIC 60 watts, even though they are temperature controlled, so is the Sigelli 75 watt, and it's still about the same price. So that might be something to work on, is getting the price a little bit lower on those so that people can actually enjoy the vaping on those if they aren't really a fan of something like, having a 100 watt or 150 watt box mod.
One complaint I will make about having a 100 watt, it doesn't fit in your pocket very well. You'll be walking around all day like you got a pile of books in there or something. It's not fun. You need a backpack or big pockets.
Up until that point, though, is with vaping with these, it's the same thing as having on like a mech mod, except for you can see the regulation. It's going to tell you what ohms you're at. You don't need an ohm test or anything like that, because it's going to tell you, oh, mine's at 0.3 ohms right now, running at 3.8 volts. And with that, I love it. I love regulated mods because I can see exactly what's going on with my builds, and I can test them right as soon as I put them on my RDA. So if it's not ohming out what I like, then I can change it. And you can tell, like with RDAs, there's so many interusable ones that you can use. I mean, it really is all it is just swap it out and see what you can do. And when you look at, like Zach's, he's got the Dark Horse, I've got the Troll on mine. And he's got his build and I've got mine. I got dual parallel going on in mine right now. And he's got a single wire 26 gauge, was it 7 wrap? And that's what it is. Like, and something people need to understand is you only get as much vape as you build. and you need to build safe. So take those two factors into effect, and that's what you get. You get a good solid vape, or you get clouds, or whatever you like, but don't be trying to run 20 gauge wire on a 50
mech
watt
mod.
or a mech mod. I mean, really on a mech mod, unless you know what you're doing, because it'll get extremely hot fast. We had experience with that, and we almost had a mech mod blow up in our face because they would get to the point where after 3 hits, they'd be so hot I couldn't even touch it.
Or like when the safety pin fell out of my Paragon and it shorted the battery out. That was not a good time.
But yeah, I mean, really, vaping with a regulated mod, really easy. All you do is get your regulated mod, charge it up, or kill the battery on it. Make sure you can kill the battery on it. Screw in your new RDA with the build on there. Make sure it's within spec. I mean, if you're going to run something sub-ohm, go ahead, go up to 50 watts. But if you're running something that's non-sub-ohm, like, say, a Nautilus tank, then you can't run anything. We normally don't like running above 30 watts.
Then stick with your eye taste.
But yeah, I mean, but we're talking about drippers on these, and I love dripping. Even with the 50 watt device, I get good cloud, and it's a great quality little toy. I mean, that's sort of what it is. In the vape world, this seems to be like a little toy compared to like 100 watt, where you're getting ridiculous clouds. But yeah, I mean, like, that's where we're at right now with this.
Where I'm at right now is I've been scraping through the bargain bin, which explains why I've been coughing this entire video, because I've been vaping on this stuff. Doink by Psycho Tunes. If you ever see it, don't get it. I paid $8 for a 15 mil. I'm not having fun, but it's what I have until tomorrow.
Yeah, honestly, don't. I did some other one. I forgot what mine was called. It was the
secret one.
The secret stuff, or whatever the heck it is. And I can honestly say, not the best juice. Did not like it at all. And I understand they're from Michigan, and that's where we're from, but I didn't like it, not one bit. It was something I could not vape on, even in a tank. It just didn't have any really good taste to it. To me, the one I had was like supposed to be like melon, juicy melon with like a creamy, and it tasted like someone took melon and dumped dish soap in there, and that's what I was vaping on. But right now, I'm kind of doing something that's not labeled right now, but this is actually some vanilla from Cyclone Vapers I'm dripping on right now, because I found some, and I love it. I love anything from Cyclone Vapers. They're great drip juices. Like, there's not a juice in there I haven't found I like. Actually, I lied. There is one. It's called Pango, but that's based on everyone's preference. It's really what it is. But yeah, I mean, that's all we got for this video. At least I think so. What do you got, Zach?
I am good right now.
Alright, you guys. Until next time, we're the Caper Vapers, and vape on.
Vape on!